this week. May the internet force be with us as we have put in our purchase for Starlink. And we're going to talk a little bit about why and what we're hoping to use it for. Plus, it's been 6 months in our Sabre, or the Sabre 37 FLL, and we have some of your most asked questions. This is RV Miles.
This podcast is sponsored by LL Bean, who makes it easy and fun to simply step outside. That might mean breaking a speed record in a rugged, built-for-fun Sonic snow tube, walking an extra block in a warm, weather-resistant down jacket, or just taking a breath on your doorstep before cozying up in a quilted sweatshirt. For however you experience the outdoors, shop clothing and gear at llbean.com. Be an outsider.
Welcome to episode 230 of the RV Miles podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Abby, and we are two full-time travelers who have been crisscrossing North America since 2016. Here at RV Miles, we talk all things RV and outdoors, from industry news, travel destinations, our national parks, and a whole lot more.
We are coming to you again from northern Florida, where it has been raining and raining and raining and raining and raining. It's just nonstop all day long today.
All day long today, all day long yesterday. Now, that said, we should be very thankful that it's just rain, because what we're getting is that storm that moved across Texas, moved across New Orleans and into Alabama, and produced some pretty nasty tornadoes. In fact, New Orleans had a tornado in the parish that we stay in, St. Bernard, when we camp. So there's just been a lot going on with this storm. So we're very thankful that by the time it made it to us, it had broken up enough to just be rain. But it's been a very rainy March here in northern Florida.
We're about an hour outside of Tallahassee, and in a few days we're making our way. Well, there'll be another episode before we leave, but we're making our way towards Jacksonville. Yeah,
we're getting out of here. We're heading towards Jacksonville, but then eventually we're going to find ourselves in Savannah, which is Savannah, Georgia, because I didn't realize there was a Savannah, Tennessee, and I don't know if it's a popular tourist destination, but someone asked me if I could clarify which Savannah we were headed to. So we're headed to Savannah, Georgia, and we've never been there before. So, of course, we always love recommendations if you have them for us, especially places we can eat that are a little bit more, I guess, vegan friendly right now, huh?
Yeah. Well, no, we're not vegan. I mean, we're eating chicken and beef.
We are, but yes, but because we're gluten-free, dairy-free, and a few other free things right now. So sugar-free,
grain-free, soy-free.
Yeah, we're just
nightshade-free.
We're just free.
Caffeine-free.
Yeah. Which one's been the hardest one for you so far?
Sugar.
The sugar?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we should say, though, we're using natural sugar. So stevia or, well, actually just stevia is all we're using right now.
Fruit. I mean,
and fruit,
so
but
it's
limiting.
That helps. But.
Yeah. And a lot of people have asked why we're doing this. And this is, Jason is really just joining me on this. And I'll talk a little bit more about it in my fresh tank as to why. But I know a lot of people have been curious as to why we're making such a unique lifestyle change. But after that, we're going to push as far as DC by mid-May, which will also be the first time we've taken all three of the boys to DC. We have done a DC trip in the past, you, me, and Henry, for our anniversary, but he was very tiny.
But we are not going up the East Coast. We are going up to Gatlinburg first for my brother's wedding, and then over to DC.
And then we will literally turn around and we will make our way back.
We're going back to where are we going then?
We will go Savannah to Pigeon Forge, Then we'll go over to Charlotte, North Carolina, because we have the AJR concert with Jack and I are going to. Then from there, we'll make our way to DC.
Okay.
We'll turn back around. We'll come back to the Durham area to see some friends. Then we will turn around. We'll just keep going west, heading back towards the Quad Cities for that time of year for doctor's appointments, things like that, the 4th of July holiday. And then we will be kicking it towards Colorado.
As Abby mentioned, I'm transitioning here.
Are you tired yet?
I'm done talking about this because I can't wrap my head around it.
I know.
As Abby mentioned in the intro, we have made our Starlink purchase. Starlink is the satellite internet service from SpaceX that has been in various versions of beta testing. It's out of beta testing now. Lots of people have it. It has not been very mobile friendly, but lots of RVers have it, and they have to sort of change their address every location they go to. Well, lately that has opened up extensively, where most people have roaming available now, and all the new orders seem to have roaming enabled. So we're excited to get it because it's very fast internet. It is not without its downfalls. So I don't think it's right for everybody to go out and order yet because there's still issues with trees and with power consumption and with not knowing how good that roaming is going to be and all that sort of stuff. There are a lot of issues around that, but we're going to have it. We're going to test out. We're going to let you know what we think about it. And I'm excited to get it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And, we had... when we got the notification that we were off the waiting list, we actually spent about 5 or 6 days going back and forth on whether or not we were actually going to do this because of the upfront cost and then because of the monthly cost. And we've been very content with the internet setup that we have right now, which is our travel data with T-Mobile, our AT&T hotspot, and then our Verizon phones with their hotspot as well. And so we went kind of back and forth on, do we want to add this in? And one of the things that we so desire to get back to, and as our business has grown, wonderfully grown, it has become very difficult for us to go anywhere that we cannot have a solid internet connection. And so we have had to make the choice of whether or not we're going to go to this campground or we're going to get a little bit more remote and go visit this area. Well, we need to go over here because we need to be able to stay connected in order to do our job. We are hoping that this will open up a world in which we can still be responsible and do our duty and get our job done while also being able to go back to exploring and doing some of the things that we so passionately miss.
Yeah. So I'm very excited too. The speeds are incredible, and it should help us upload of all our podcasts and videos and all that much easier.
We can stream so much faster.
We can have some better live streaming options.
That's right.
We have really cut back on the live streaming over the last 6 months. And one of the biggest reasons is it is hard with internet.
It's very hard. And, we did go back to it. I guess that's a good thing to mention. We did go back to our monthly night live here in March. That was the first time we had been live with everyone since we were sitting in a hotel, I think, waiting to pick up the Sabre. So this had been our first live here in our new home. And so that was great to go back to it. And so we are going to be live again the first Monday of every month. We go live across YouTube and Facebook over at the RV Miles channels. And then we just spend an hour. I think we've been doing 9876. So it'll start 9 Eastern and then 6 Pacific. So plan on joining us the first Monday of April, and we'll have Starlink, I believe, going by then.
We'll see.
All
right. We have a whole lot of listener questions, particularly about our Sabre.
Yes.
And our move into this fifth wheel and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to cover those on the show today. But first, it's time for a quick break to hear from our sponsors.
And we'll be right back.
Chances are you've seen them on the road. That's because Blue Ox has been designing and manufacturing some of the best towing products in the industry. Blue Ox is everywhere. Highways, campgrounds, anywhere you find people traveling in the great outdoors. Blue Ox produces award-winning tow bars and base plates, plus a full line of weight distributing hitches and a new lineup of adjustable ball mounts. With Blue Ox, towing doesn't have to be a drag. To learn more about how Blue Ox can make your travel adventures even more stress-free, visit blueox.com. Electrical surge protection is one of the cheapest insurance policies you can provide for your RV, and the Power Watchdog Smart Surge Protector, made by Hughes Auto Formers, beats the competition with field replaceable surge modules. With other brands, when the surge protector takes a large surge or a spike, you have to throw it away. The Power Watchdog can be brought back to life with one small affordable part you can replace yourself. They'll even give you a free surge module in the first 2 years and now have a limited lifetime warranty. Use the coupon code RVMiles, all one word, for 10% off your order at HughesAutoformers.com. That's code RVMiles for 10% off at HughesAutoformers.com.
Okay, so we're back and we're going to do a little bit of a mailbag episode 6 months into owning our Sabre 37 FLL that we lovingly call the Sabre. And I took these particular questions are coming straight off of Instagram. A few weeks ago, I shared a very short reel of a tour that we did back when we were at the Balloon Fiesta. And that kind of blew up a little bit. It's had somewhere around 250,000 views. And we have hundreds of questions in there. And so I pulled the questions from there. I will say that the questions I did not pull are the ones about what do we pull it with and how much does it cost? I kind of felt like those were two questions where the information is pretty readily available, or we have talked pretty extensively here on the podcast.
So we should mention, though, for those that are new and haven't been with us for a long time, this is our first fifth wheel. We traveled in a travel trailer before, and then a converted school bus before that. We are brand ambassadors for Sabre. Sabre put us into this fifth wheel to share it with you. And it's great for our family because it's got a loft for the kids that is above our bedroom, which is rare for fifth wheels.
That raised a lot of questions.
Often there's when there's a 2-bedroom layout, you have a very small living space. But what we loved so much about this layout and why we chose it is we get to have a big front living room and a giant kitchen with that bedroom space not being as big as it is in some other RVs. But we felt that the living space was a better trade-off.
Yeah. And so if you would like to see sort of this quick fly through 30-second tour of our house, you can go over to the RV Miles Instagram, and we hope that you will join us over there as well, because we share a bunch of different tips and just some stuff going on with our lives.
And if you want a more detailed tour, we did a tour with Matt's RV Reviews Towables channel. Matt has two channels, the Matt's RV Reviews channel, which is motorhomes, and then he has the Towables channel. We'll link to that in the description for this episode.
Yeah, and that came out back in October. And then I do know we're going to put our own walkthrough here pretty soon now that we're a little bit more settled in and we've made a few changes that we needed to make to sort of make this more our home and what we needed it to be. So anyway, that stuff coming up in the future. So let's just dive right in. The first question came from Kyle R., and he wanted to know, what tires do you have on the Sabre and would you recommend them?
So it came with Castle Rocks, I believe. Yeah, it was Castle Rocks. They have now been putting Goodyear Endurances on Sabres. At least we noticed that when we were at the Tampa RV show due to supply shortages. That's been a big thing across the board for a lot of RV manufacturers, is that you're actually getting upgraded tires because they can't get the cheaper ones. Castle Rocks are okay if you're somebody that doesn't travel a ton. We did have a blowout in one, and we have upgraded all of our tires to Goodyear Endurance tires, which we upgraded to on our travel trailer as well, and love them. They're great tires.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I should say, by the time we had that blowout, we had put, I think, about 10,000 miles, wouldn't you say, on the trailer?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Maybe 9.
Yeah, and over a very quick period of time too. So it kind of wasn't surprising to us too much. The next one comes from Happy Hiker Till She Dies. And she wanted to know, where is the washer dryer prep in this unit? So there is washer dryer prep here in the Sabre 37 FLL. We do not utilize it. It is a closet in the master bedroom, and you have two options. You can have the washer dryer. It would have to be a combo in there.
Yeah, there's not enough room for 2 units.
Right.
It'd
have to be the
only.
combo washer dryer. Or you can have it as a closet. And we opted to go ahead and do it as a coat closet because we travel full time and coats have always been kind of just my Achilles heel. I decided that I was going to turn that into the coat closet. And another factor for us by not doing a washer dryer is that it plumbs, I believe, into the bathroom gray, right?
No, it actually plumbs into the black tank
or into
on
the
this
black.
unit, which
okay.
A lot of people think is a little strange, but actually the point behind that is I believe that you're only using that when you're at a campground with full hookups.
Yeah.
And it's a little easier to manage. And then you're actually kind of cleaning out your black tank with that soapy water. But I think a big factor for us, too, is the fact that we've heard a lot from a lot of other full-time families that are larger, 5 people. We've got 3 growing boys, that the combo washer dryers is you just can't get very much laundry done at a time.
Yeah, it does seem like you either love it or you hate it. And, for us, we have been doing more private campground camping than we ever have in our almost 6 years on the road. But our hope is now, again, going back to Starlink, that we're going to move away from that. And so taking up all of that closet space, which is holding all of the coats for all the seasons for 5 people, just didn't quite make a whole lot of sense. Now, I will say it would be nice right now to have a washer dryer in here, given this particular campground with its laundry situation.
Laundry is terrible at this campground, and there's no laundromats anywhere nearby.
No.
Usually we go to a laundromat.
Yeah, and I think the nearest one is a half hour, 40 minutes away or so. So that's just an inconvenience that I wish I, could have that. But overall, it just did not make sense for us. The next question comes from Just Jenny Lane. And she also wants to know, does the master bedroom drop down low? And do you have any issue with scraping?
So it is a drop frame in the rear. So some fifth wheels have what's called a drop frame, which means there is a section that is lower than the rest. Often that's in the front. In our particular unit, in order to get that loft big enough, and it is a fairly big loft, and have a big master bedroom, they did a drop frame in the rear. So past our bathroom in the hallway is the staircase to the boys' bedroom, and then a door to our bedroom, and we have to step down into our bedroom. And we have scraped the ground like twice.
I think twice, yes.
And it's not where you would think. People think it will happen on hills and stuff like that. It's when there's a severe dip, and usually that's in a campground where it goes from level, dips down to level very quickly.
Yeah.
That's when we've scraped.
Now, I think we've had it happen the 2 times. I think actually was only once in a campground at the one in Utah, but then the other time was coming out of a gas station. And
that's right,
we hit coming out because you're coming out to get on, and the road just literally just drops down. And at that point, there's almost nothing you can do about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if even without a drop frame, that was such an aggressive level change.
We shouldn't have been there.
Yeah. You gotta get fuel sometimes.
But it has not been. It has not been a problem. It has not caused any damage.
No.
You can't even tell that it's ever happened. It's really not a big deal on our end.
No, but we do try to be very mindful of it, knowing that it's back there. So one of our most asked questions, and we are a family show and we have listeners of all ages, and so we're not going to answer this question, but I just want y'all to know that you're nosy, okay? Like, you're nosy, and there are some things about our lives that we are not here to share with you. And this particular question is one of them. So if you keep asking, just know we're probably never going to answer it. Okay? The end. All right, let's move on. Kevin Brooks, 1987. And this is actually a question that we have gotten not only when we show the fifth wheel itself, but anytime we do something with the truck as well. This is a very common question, and I think one that either on a future episode here or in a video itself, we need to flesh out a little bit more for people because they're concerned. And that is, do you have to have a CDL to pull a camper that size?
The answer is no. In no state do you need to have a CDL, a commercial driver's license, to drive an RV non-commercially. In some states, about 16 of them, you do have to have an upgraded non-commercial license in order to drive an RV, usually over 26,000 pounds. Our total rig is not over 26,000 pounds. We're actually a fairly lighter fifth wheel. People think we're a lot heavier than we are.
Yeah, we
are on
max
the lighter
are
end.
15,000.
But there are a couple states where, like, if you're towing over 10,000 pounds, you're supposed to have an upgraded license. Our state is not one of those, but it goes by the laws of your home state and what your driver's license says. So you want to check into that. We actually have an article on the website that goes through the different states and their requirements for driving. But for the most part, no, it's a non-commercial vehicle. You do not need a CDL, and in a few places, you do need an upgraded driver's license to tow over a certain amount.
Yeah, and we'll put the article in the description for the podcast and for this video on YouTube as well if you want to go and check it out. But that has been such a hot topic, and boy, a lot of people got into an argument over that when we had that truck video up. So, all right, Penny71 wants to know, how do y'all handle having just one bathroom? Pretty much the same way we've been handling it the entire almost 15 years that we've been parents.
We've never had two bathrooms.
No, we've never had two bathrooms. So when we were living in our apartments in Chicago, we had just one bathroom. When we were in Wanderbus, we had one bathroom. When we were in the trailer, we had one bathroom. And this one, really, it's just sometimes, yes, there is a line for the bathroom. I get top priority. Okay. Because listen, I have to go to pee. I had babies. I get to go first. But really,
it's just one of those
I don't know.
trade-offs. I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's like the loft in the bedroom. Like, would we want to lose living space for a second bathroom? I don't think we would.
I don't know. We did look at one Sabre that I actually really like, which was their back bunkhouse that had, I think it's like the 38
The kids
TV,
would have had a bathroom.
Yeah, something like, and that had a back bathroom. It was a full bathroom back there because sometimes they're half baths.
And the other nice thing about when they have a second bathroom is often that second bathroom has a door to it.
Yes.
So you can access it easily on a travel day.
Yeah. And so that is kind of the one, and we'll get to that on this next question. But the thing about that bunkhouse one, why we didn't go with that one and we went with this one instead, is, again, it came down to the front living and kitchen space. Our kitchen is huge. Our living room is huge. And we spend a decent amount of time in those two spaces. So for us, having a second bathroom and losing that space right now didn't really make sense.
No.
Maybe the next rig, though, it might.
Maybe. And I can see if people that are, always getting ready at the same time, that would, especially if you got teenagers, kids that are getting a little bit older, and everybody's trying to get ready at the same time. I can see that being more of a problem. We don't have
nobody at our house cares what they look like.
Getting ready at the same time issue.
Yeah, there's no getting ready. There's no getting ready at this house. It's literally like roll out of bed. It's quite possible I slept in what I was wearing yesterday. I'm good to go. That's the stage of where we're at right now with the kids. The next question, L Island wants to know storage, good and bad. Are there any tips about our storage that we want to share? So I would say, and I wanted to bring this up, it's not really a storage, but I would say one of the downfalls for me with this goes back to the bathroom and being unable to access it on a travel day. Because our kitchen slide comes in and our bathroom is here down the hall. And so when the kitchen slide comes in, it's completely blocked off. That has been, to me, the only would I change about this.
Yeah. I mean, and again,
but it's the layout, and
RV
we love
design
the layout.
it's just an exercise in trade-offs,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't have a second bathroom in a floor plan like this. It just wouldn't work.
Well, and we were already kind of used to not having access to the bathroom because when we were in Ranger Gandalf Tralee, it also, when that main slide came in, we were not able to access the bathroom. So anyway, that back up.
But the question of storage,
yes,
we always say storage is meaningless without cargo carrying capacity. And that's one of the greatest things about this unit is it has about 3,000 pounds of cargo carrying capacity. So sometimes you'll have a unit with lots of cabinets and space to put things in, and there's only like 1,200 pounds of capacity to haul it, right?
Yeah.
So this unit has pretty typical exterior storage in terms of a pass-through and a front storage like most fifth wheels have. We have a lot of kitchen cabinet space. Some of it is very high.
Most of it is high. I would say 2 out of the 3 shelves. I'm 5'7", so I'm on the taller end, I guess, or average. And even getting to that second shelf begins sort of like a tiptoe reach. The third shelf is I cannot get to it without our step stool.
Yeah.
So that there's storage over the microwave, which again can't really be accessed without the step stool. But there's some great storage down below. The pantry is huge. This cabinet that is behind us, if you're watching this, we use as well for our food pantry and school. Our whole coffee bar that you often see if you're watching this has storage as well. So for the most part, the indoor storage is really great. We start to have some issues a little bit with closed storage for all 3 of the kids, in addition to giving up some storage for toys and things like that. It's always a balance, always a trade-off. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. The only thing I wish storage-wise, and again, we've got more storage than we've ever had. We have places we don't even have stuff in yet, is I do wish there was just a little bit more outdoor storage. Like we just did a whole kind of rework on our outdoor kitchen because it felt very much like we just weren't making good of that space. And so now I think we're using the space better, but that, we just kept looking at that for 6 months and being like, we need this to work for us on a day to day.
We also have too much outdoor stuff, but we've bought new chairs and not gotten rid of the old ones and stuff like that.
I mean, I guess maybe we don't need 8 hammocks, Jason.
Those don't take up any space, though.
Oh, I see. So
and we don't have
only
8. We just gave away one.
Going.
We just gave away one. We actually only have 3 hammocks now.
No. We have 2 LL Bean. We have the Grand Trunk. We have a Dometic.
We got rid of the second LL Bean one because it had a rip on the...
Don't come at me with your facts. I can't. Okay. Then I leave you to the outdoor because
we've also we've put our lithium batteries in and stuff like that,
yes.
Which is great.
And I concede I was uncertain as to what you mean by we have too much stuff out there because all I can think of is we have a ton of hammocks, but clearly we don't. I don't even know what we have out there anymore.
It's toys.
It's toys.
We
do have.
We don't need machine gun Nerf guns.
No, I never thought
they don't even use them.
I never thought we needed those.
Well, you need to tell your brother that because he'll buy him another one at Christmas.
You go tell an uncle what they can and cannot buy their nephews. You go do that. So, all right, moving. Do you have anything else you want to add about storage?
No.
No? Okay, fantastic. Last question. It's from, I think, Kalahard. I apologize if I'm not saying this right. What do you hang pictures with, and do you use nails? So this is a really common question because everyone is very afraid to hammer into an RV, and most of the time for very good reason. We primarily do not use nails.
Well, but we do. We use both. For the most part, we use command hooks.
Yes, for the most part, we use command hooks or museum putty. there have been times when we do drive a nail, but we're very deliberate about it.
Yeah.
And
I think people in general are a little too precious about that and a little bit worried about, resale value and stuff like that. And that's fine. But you know what? Nail holes can be filled just like they can in a house.
well, yeah, I mean, it's the same sort of concept, I think. If you're going to nail into the wall of your RV, you need to do it somewhere where there is like a brace to do it.
Yeah.
Similar, you don't just drive through drywall like at your house.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. These hooks over the stove and stuff, I just screwed them in,
What?
Yeah.
You didn't look.
There's no way to figure out if there's a stud there. You just have to kind of feel around.
This
you can
is
feel around
okay.
and know.
I knew it.
You can press and know and feel, but like
I knew it.
It's hard to. I mean, because it's all Luan walls.
I knew you went rogue over there, which is why the other day I was like, I don't know if we should put that many fruit in that bag and hang it off that
thing.
hook.
I could hang
I
off
knew
that.
it.
I could do pull-ups off of that.
You are so predictable.
I could do pull-ups off that.
Okay. Well,
it is very sturdy.
Okay. Well, we'll see about your pull-ups. So that is really all of the questions that I have. Do you have anything before we go off that you can think of that someone's asked you on a consistent basis about the Sabre?
I mean, we've covered this in the past. Like, what do we feel about being in a fifth wheel over being in a travel trailer?
Yeah.
And we have talked extensively a couple episodes ago about how it does tow a heck of a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great unit overall. It's built well. We loved seeing them being built. Like, that gave us a ton of peace of mind when we went to the factory and really saw how they make these and the care that went into the quality control. I mean, all RVs are going to have issues. But I think there's a lot of peace of mind for us that this unit isn't going to have major issues. And that's always the bigger concern. There's always going to be cabinet doors that fall off, a piece of trim that falls off, plumbing that comes loose. That's part of RV ownership. And I don't care how much money a manufacturer puts into quality control, it's always going to be a part of life.
It does not matter if you have that Tiffin Super C for $365,000 or that little pop-up for $9,000. Something is going to shake down and go wrong.
And often
it's
it's components that are supplied by others, like refrigerators and water
stoves
heaters and stuff like that. But I think, I'm not concerned that our roof is going to fall in or that we're going to have major leaks and stuff like that.
No, can I say too, I was thinking about this earlier today as the rain was just pummeling us and it's just been downpours. And I thought back to the tour and I thought, wow, I am really glad they do that whole air pressure power wash where they go through to check and see if any of the seals or slides are leaking.
What they do is they put a false door on the front door that has a big tube to a blower in it. So it pressurizes the RV. It puts positive air pressure in the RV. And then they go around with soapy water and soap every single seam on the RV. And if they see bubbles, they know how they have to they
have to patch it or do
reseal
something,
that seam. And if the bubbles are too big, they will not patch it. They will undo the sealant completely and reseal it entirely. So I thought it was just a great level of quality control that a lot of manufacturers don't do. A lot of them do, but it takes time, obviously. But you can be, really fairly certain that you're not going to get leaks when something like that happens. Now, you always these things roll down the road, right? And
doesn't mean it's 100%.
We've put probably 11,000 miles on this rig now, and you have to at least quarterly check all of your sealant everywhere. Look for where leaks could be possible. Look for where it's pulling away. Nip and tuck it. Make it better. That's a very important part of RV ownership.
And we're going to be doing that before we leave here, right?
I have to do a severe cleaning of our roof before we leave here because this roof is covered with pollen.
It looks like we painted it yellow.
And oak leaves.
It's disgusting.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty bad. So we've got a lot of cleaning up there we need to do before we leave a week from today. So, but that's it. Those are the questions kind of that have been the most pressing recently. Of course, if you have any other questions for us about our Sabre 37 FLL, we're more than happy to answer them if we can. We just ask that you email us at editor@rvmiles.com. That gets it in front of us a little bit faster than if you just drop us a DM across social media.
Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave it right there in the comments.
Yes, that's also great as well because I get an email every time somebody leaves a comment on the podcast.
That's a lot of emails.
Well, I like to try to answer them if I can. So, okay. All right. We are going to take one more break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about our fresh tank black tanks for the week. Be right back.
If you've been thinking about picking up a Solo Stove, now is the perfect time. During the off-season, Solo Stove continues to offer discounts on their popular low-smoke fire pits, including our favorite, the Bonfire. RV Miles listeners can save even more money by heading over to rvmiles.com/Solo Stove and using the link and promo code. Take advantage of all the discounts to be had before camping season starts and get your Solo Stove today. rvmiles.com/Solo Stove and then click the link and use the promo code to save even more.
All right, welcome back. It is time to check the level of our tanks. Jason, what is in your black tank this week?
Oh, there's a hole in our awning.
Yeah, speaking of,
there's
the Sabre.
So the rain that has been happening around here has been very, very heavy. It's been 1 to 2 inches over the last 2 days. But last weekend, it was just as much rain.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big branch that fell on our roof. It made a big loud noise while it was happening. Abby was actually out of town. Abby went to see some family up near Atlanta for the weekend. It was just me and the boys. And it didn't do any damage to the roof. That was great. I think it hit one of our solar panels and bounced off, and it was fine. But it was about the size of my arm. It was a big branch. So the next day, the sun's out, and I'm trying to dry things off. I put the awning out in order to get it to dry off, and a branch fell on the awning with the awning out while it wasn't even storming, and put a hole, I'd say about a 3-inch gash in our awning. So
it hit just right too. I mean, we've had branches fall in the past, but it just hit, and it had it looked like just the perfect little point.
Yeah. And
it just hit and tore right into it.
Luckily, I had some awning repair tape from when I destroyed our clam, our screen tent. So I was able to put some of that on and keep it from, the getting bigger and bigger. From what I understand, replacing the awning cloth isn't terribly expensive. So I don't know that we're going to report it to our insurance or anything like that. But
no, probably not. I mean, just the time and figuring out when we would even get that repaired is almost just too much to figure out. So, all right, what is in your fresh tank this week?
Okay, so I have been wanting a propane fire pit for a very long time, but I have not been crazy about the round propane fire pits with the rocks and stuff. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of size. It's
great ambiance, though.
With the fact that we already carry a Solo Stove, carrying something like that in addition didn't sound like something that was ever going to be feasible for us. But it is getting so much harder to have a campfire out west, especially when there are burn bans. Lots of campgrounds. This campground that we are in does not allow firewood to come in from the outside, even local firewood. They sell firewood here. It is not seasoned, and it will not burn.
It is the worst.
Will not burn. It is. The logs are heavy as rocks. It's amazing.
It's the worst.
So there have been lots of issues like that, and we love having a wood fire for the most part, but it is nice to be able to, we've been around propane fires with other people. It's so nice that they can just turn their fire on and go, right? So we were walking through a REI and saw this Ignic propane fire pit. that is so much smaller, a completely different form factor than the big round ones. It is in the shape and style of an ammo can. And I reached out to Ignic and asked them if they would send us one to test, and we'll do a video about it and share it with you. But preliminary reaction after using it a few times, it is awesome. It is much smaller,
cool.
like I said. It does not get anywhere near as hot as those fire pits, those bigger round ones, because it's not using as much propane, but it gets plenty warm enough to be close to, and it's very small, compact for us to put away. I can even actually store it in our solo stove so that we have both options. They also sent us a 5-pound propane tank that they call their a propane growler. So it's a smaller propane tank that is in its own case that zips up and looks real fancy and stuff. And so you can get away from using those green, the green cylinders that aren't recyclable. And those are just so terrible for the environment that they throw hundreds of thousands away just at Yellowstone every year. It's really insane. And so this little guy is refillable, and we can use it with a propane fire pit. We can also use it with a Blackstone, especially we like to travel into a national park and have that with us. So big fan of this Ignic fire pit. Look for a review of it from us soon, but we'll also link to it in the description as well for this video.
You mentioned Blackstone, and I almost on the fly changed my black tank.
Oh, that could be my black tank.
Yeah. I might have a double black tank. So speaking of my black tank, I got to give it to the caterpillars.
Wait. What? Do you want me to do?
Do I want you to intro me into? Do you need that in order to feel like this is?
Abby, what is in your black tank this week?
My black tank this week goes to the caterpillars.
Oh boy.
That have invaded the campsite, maybe the campground, but I really think they're just here. I put up a story on Instagram a couple days ago because there had to have been a small-ish clan of them all over our Sylvan Sport Dynamite, like our little outdoor kitchen that we put our now broken Blackstone on. And they were everywhere, and they're looking to cocoon on all of our stuff. They want to get that chrysalis going on our tires, on our chairs, on our awning, on the rig itself. They are everywhere. It is too much. Too much caterpillars. And they are, someone had told us what they are. They're going to turn into moths.
Well, we had this issue last year when we were in
North Carolina or South Carolina.
When we were in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And we had the clam out then, which you would think the clam would be, that's a great place to hide from the bugs.
Mm-mm.
Well, they all liked to climb and make their little cocoons on it. And in addition to all the other types of bugs that like to shelter from the weather in the clam.
Yeah. And, our neighbors here have their clam out. And the other day I was walking past it, and Jason, I thought the roof was the little, I don't know, leafy things that are falling.
The little seeds from these trees. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's caterpillars.
It's just caterpillars, dozens of them all over. And I was like, nope, this is why the clam's in storage. So yeah, there we go. You want to ask me what my fresh tank is?
Okay.
Oh, or should I guess I did bring up the broken Blackstone, so we should probably move forward. I totally forgot about that.
Let's do the double black tank.
Black tank. I got a double tank. So out of the blue, and you know what? I'm black tanking it, but it's your story to tell. You do it.
We have a newish Blackstone that we've only had for a few months now. We upgraded from the 17-inch to the 22-inch, and the connection where the propane regulator goes, where the hose goes, just snapped right off. The brass connection right there just snapped right off. And this is something important. Okay. So this is the Adventure Ready Blackstone griddle, which is from Walmart. The Adventure Readies are only available at Walmart. And what you might not know about products that are only available at Walmart or have a Walmart-only version is that Walmart pushes those companies to make those products cheaper. So you might big trusted brand like Blackstone or John Deere, you can buy a John Deere lawnmower at Walmart.
Available only at
And
Walmart.
where if you had bought it at like Home Depot, it would have more metal parts than plastic parts, and the vice versa at Walmart. So Walmart really pushes their suppliers to get the price down as low as possible so they can beat their competitors and they can make the biggest profit margin. And I think that's one of the issues with our broken Blackstone.
And,
so
fool us for buying it from
I'm
there,
going to fix it. I have to order a new gas rail from Blackstone and have that shipped somewhere and replace that, but we're without a Blackstone for a bit.
If I can be honest, just between you and me, Jason, I'm starting to get a little disillusioned with the Blackstone.
Oh, I love it. I still love it.
I don't know. Listen, we've had the 17-inch. We've had this 22, and I know we bought them from Walmart. Again, shame on us. But I feel like we've bought some of the products to like go with the things. The little pancake and the...
There have been some other Blackstone products that have been a problem.
I just feel like that we don't work with Blackstone. We've never had any relationship with them. This is not anything about the company or the people that work there. I'm sure they're all wonderfully nice people, but for what the hype and whatever, even as much as the camping, you cannot camp without the Blackstone.
Oh, sure.
The fact that this snapped off, and I don't care if it's cheaply made because it's for Walmart. I'm using air quotes. It shouldn't have snapped.
No,
we just
of course
bought
not.
it.
Of course not. Even
that
cheaply made. But
yeah,
often you'll find also the products at Walmart don't have as good of a warranty.
No.
For that reason.
Yeah, I'm really bummed right now about it.
I do love having the Blackstone because for cooking for a family of 5, especially like breakfast and being able to lay out a whole pack of bacon, being able to do pancakes really quickly. It is definitely not necessary for RVing. It is convenient. It is nice for cooking outdoors. But I'm getting used to using the burners outside.
Well, yeah, I don't know. This is just now the 3rd, 4th, 5th thing we've bought Blackstone wise that's kind of busted up on us. Now I'm a little tired of spending money on Blackstone stuff. So now we have to go spend more in order to fix one so we can use it. All right. Now I'm done with my double black tank.
Okay, what's in your fresh tank this week?
So my fresh tank, actually, I'm going to give it to you this week. I know it's a little surprising, but I wanted to give it to you because the look on your face was quite shocked. Because, a week ago we embarked on a complete and total overhaul of how we eat. And we did that to deal with, I have a hypothyroidism and adrenal fatigue. I was diagnosed with those several years ago. And then over the years, I've begun to suspect that I have candida overgrowth, which is due to the multiple surgeries I've had and the C-sections and a lot of antibiotics I've had to be on over the course of my adult life. And so in order to take care of that and to make sure that my body doesn't have to be so inflamed and can continue to live its best life for many, many years to come, because it's become really obvious that if I don't do something, I'm in trouble. I had to completely overhaul my diet, and it's pretty restrictive right now because we're trying to take care of these things and kill off this growth and get this inflammation under control. And it was really scary and overwhelming to think about doing this. I wasn't going to ask the kids, and I wasn't even going to ask my husband to do it. Jason isn't really known for his love of vegetables. And I knew it was going to be tough, and without even asking, he said, I will do this with you and we will do this together. And,
I've had more salads in the last week than I think I've had my whole life.
And he is eating everything that, we sat down and we put it together, but he's eating everything that gets put in front of him, and he's doing it with a gracious heart. Now, that said, the last few days have gotten a little rough around here. I think we're both starting to feel the effects of, die off from sugar and caffeine and things like that. And it's made us a little grumpy with each other and just a little grumpy in general. But I just wanted to say, I think for anyone out there listening who's had to make kind of like a big health change in their life, there is nothing more comforting than someone that you live with saying, you don't have to do this alone. I'm going to do it with you. And then they suffer right next to you.
Well, let's be honest. I needed to make some changes to my diet as well for my own health. And,
yeah.
then that's important. And I should stop eating like a 13-year-old and
like a
grow up.
Like a 26-year-old man that I met all those years ago who would go and spend his evenings in the theater queuing up lights and sitting in on tech and dress rehearsals, swinging by and grabbing whatever, some 7-Eleven on the way to some 7-Eleven egg salad sandwiches on the way to the
I thought
theater.
I was eating healthy by eating egg salad or tuna salad sandwiches.
That's okay.
So I got obviously 7-Eleven, not healthy, but I would also go to Subway and I would get the tuna salad sandwich at Subway the time. And then
you are so
then they started putting
too.
in the calorie counts on the menu. And the tuna salad sandwich, the foot-long tuna salad sandwich from Subway is like 1,200 calories.
So I used to, this is back in our 20s when we could, I guess we could eat like this. So when I was doing Gypsy at Stage 773 and I'd be going to the theater to get ready for the show, I'd swing by 7-Eleven and get a couple of the taquitos. And like, the ones that are in just the constant little cooker that are always spinning. I'd get like 2 or 3 of those, grab myself a Diet Coke.
And you were like in your underwear on stage in that
I was.
show.
In fact, everything I was wearing would light up. So it was illuminating all of it as well. And I would just be like, I grab myself some of those in the Diet Coke. And that is that'd be my dinner.
Our metabolism changes rapidly.
Yes. And now look at us. Here we are eating smoothies with kale and avocado and spinach. It's amazing.
It is. I enjoy it. Actually, I'm starting to enjoy these foods, and I'm starting to enjoy eating a bit healthier, and I actually am feeling full and all that, and I think it's great.
Yeah, it is great. And we're going to get through it in these couple weeks to go with the detox. We're going to get through it. So, but if you see us in a couple weeks and we look a little a little rough, it might just be because we're massively detoxing. All right. I think that's it. Anything else you want to add?
No.
All right.
No.
Well, as always, thank you so much for joining us this week. If you are watching on YouTube or you're listening, would you think about heading over to YouTube and just kind of subscribing to the RV Miles podcast channel? We'd love to see you come over there. It's just youtube.com/RV Miles podcast. And of course, if you're headed to Amazon, please take us with you. Amazon.com/shop/RV Miles. Until next week, stay well and keep logging those RV miles.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.